hello, friends. Welcome to the Ancient Health Podcast, where East meets West. I'm your host, Dr. Chris Motley. And do you ever have a puffy face? Accompany that with excessive water weight and sometimes night sweats. And most of us would say it all comes from hormones. It's all my hormones. But if you get a puffy face, a red face, and you're gaining weight at a faster rate than you want, let's say 10 pounds within the last few weeks, 15 pounds. I've had patients that have had that. And one thing that they're afraid of is this weight always going to stay on there? Let's take a small side note that most weight, when it comes on that suddenly, is not from fat cells. It is from water or serous fluid that's gaining in your body because of overall inflammation. We want to connect this to a stagnant, sluggish liver and also kidney stagnation, kidney infections. They both work in tandem as filters. So let's run through a few small facts. The stagnation of blood and energy within your liver in Chinese medicine leads to a puffy, hardened, and sluggish liver. Literally, very puffy, very hardened. Some would even say it resembles cirrhosis in the Western terminology. But in Chinese medicine, when you have a stagnant liver, it could represent itself in a red face, puffy face, swollen face. Now, the liver can get congested with parasites, toxins, bacteria such as E. coli or H. pylori or something you got from your food or from another individual, and toxins such as pesticides or GMOs. Those can harden the liver. That, accompanied with high sugar diets in our American culture and all over the world, can lead to a stagnant, a stuffed up liver. And one of the things I want to tell you is that when you start to notice if your face or somebody you know is very puffy or very red or very swollen, it's usually related to that stagnant liver and to a possible stagnant kidney. Patients, when they have this issue come to me, I literally always start to work with detoxifying and moving the toxins out of the liver and especially helping the kidneys to flush. So in this podcast, we want to go over basic tenets of the liver and a swollen face and why inflammation builds in the body, leading to that puffiness and how it can affect your hormones. Most people will say it's just my hormones, that hormones caused it, but I want you to know that hormones, when they get that affected that quickly, that fast, it's not something that happened overnight. It's just that you got pushed over the edge. It's been building for a long time, and you get pushed over the ledge, and now it's rolling fast. That's why it happened quickly in your body. But from our point of view, we always think it must have just happened recently. No, the problem has been building for many years. I like to think of an old car with an old filter. When the filter goes bad, right, the oil gets dirty and thick, and the oil becomes too thick and dirty, and it clogs up the engine. That's the same thing that happens in your liver. It gets clogged up, it gets dirty, it gets mucky, and the liver gets overworked, and it will represent with hot flashes, puffy face, stagnation, sweating. So just make that association. Congestion of the liver is like an old, dirty car filter. Now, when your liver gets congested and dirty, that can lead to hormonal problems because why? Cholesterol is made in your liver. So I want you guys to think about that. Cholesterol is a beautiful, beautiful molecule. It's a particle that helps you with making up your cell walls. It helps build up the brain. It helps with many inflammation processes. It helps mend your arteries and veins. When the liver is congested and dirty, your cholesterol production is hindered, harmed, or it is depleted in major ways. So your liver is making cholesterol to make hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. It's there to help mend up arteries and veins. It's there to mend up your brain. That's all from just cholesterol. If you start to get a congested liver, these things have happened in the past and started probably a good time ago. High sugar intake. Okay, so let's read this off. High refined sugars when you're a kid, which includes me. Tons of Kool-Aid, tons of Coca-Cola, tons of the Little Debbie snacks, tons of cereal, tons of sweet tea. Yes, I'm from the South. All that, plus being dehydrated, not taking my minerals and vitamins when I was a kid, not drinking enough water, not having regular bowel movements, having chronic yeast and strep in my throat, in my body, led to stagnant liver. It did not represent in my body particularly with a swollen face, a puffiness, but many children have that. For me, it may have not represented that in the past, but it still could have laid the groundwork for my liver to be congested. Unfortunately, some children get this expression when they're young. Adults usually, their body can handle this problem as they are going through their adolescence, through their teenage years, into their 20s and even 30s. But there comes a point, though, have you guys ever seen this, where they tell us, my patients go, Doc, it was good until I hit age 32, 34. And then I started to get puffiness. My face swelled up. I started to get weight gain in other areas. I started to get the tire around the waist. And no matter how well I ate or no matter how many diets I did, it stayed on. So the issue becomes now that the liver was harmed or injured when you're young, and the stuff and the gunk builds up in the liver. Now, you could do a diet or a diet program to help reduce calories, that you could cut out certain sugars, which is very, very beneficial and very healthy. You could do keto. But when you do these diets, it can take some time for your liver to react and change its metabolic processes. The hardest thing, though, according to your genetics, your environment, your toxins, I hope you're following along, is that when your liver is stagnated when you're young, even though you didn't have signs and symptoms when you're young, but as your liver gets older, it's still replenishing, it's still trying to regenerate. But the gunk, the toxins build up and they stagnate and they harden. Your liver will build new tissue and attempt and grow to run normal processes. This not only happens in your liver, but it can also happen in your kidneys. So if you imagine that it's corroded and it's got this caked up plaque in your liver, I hate to be so gross, but it's the truth. And as you have this caked up junk in your liver, you start trying these different types of diets and they don't work. It's because you have to clean out the caked up junk in your liver. Your body will adapt over the years and it will use what it can from your liver, but it is a responsibility of the body or you to help clean up that liver to flush out, and even the kidneys. The puffiness, the sweating, your body is toxified and it's trying to do its best by sweating it out, by pulling in fluid to help cool the body down. That's what your body's trying to do. It's inflamed, it's trying to cool the body down. And your body is doing everything it can to keep homeostasis. So remember, you have to clean out the plaque, the gunk out of the liver and the kidneys. That's it in a nutshell. There are many other factors and many practitioners out there and Chinese medicine practitioners and many practitioners. Please send me the info. I know there's many things that have to do with puffy face, but this is the angle I want to come in from today. So as you start to look at it and you want to clean out the gunk and the junk out of these two organs, one of the things that you'll notice that most people, as they build up the gunk over the years, like I did, and I started to have strep symptoms, sore throat all the time, yeast issues with smelly feet, smelly bowel movements. People have bad breath. Or if you have had any type of parasite issues where you have diarrhea, constipation mixed together, absence of bowel movements, constipation, the infections get in the liver. They get throughout the body. This is a possibility. Your liver not only can get congested with the plaque and gunk, but when you have infections roaming around your body and they're injuring the cells, I want anybody out there to not raise their hand when they're driving. I always say that because I'm serious. But it says, how many of you have had strep or staph? How many of you have had, knowingly have had Lyme disease? Even malaria. There are hemolytic, blood injuring infections that get into your cells and rip them apart. Now, this is the key. When your brain cells, your liver cells, your muscle cells, when any cell gets injured by an infection, the walls of the cells get injured. Those infections eat up the walls. Okay, you follow me? Pulling off the bricks off the wall, your body will go, liver, I need cholesterol. Dump them into the little lipoproteins. You ever heard of high density or low density lipoproteins, HDLs, LDLs? Your body uses those as transport trucks to help take good cholesterol to the cell to patch up the cells like bricks. And they'll also take the old ones out and take them back to the liver, to the spleen, to help them be recycled. So you have HDLs and LDLs. They're transport proteins or transport lipoproteins to help you take good cholesterol out to the cell and bad cholesterol or injured cholesterol, the old bricks, the old mortar, they pull it out and take it back to the liver to be recycled, to make new ones. It's that simple. That's what it's about. So your cells get injured. Your liver's stagnant, so your kidneys. Your liver's trying to meet the demand, saying, okay, let's pump out a lot of cholesterol to go mend up these injured cells from the infections roaming around. So you have the cells that are injured, and now your body says, this is too much for me. There's too many cells that are injured. If you don't work on cleaning out the infections and cleaning out the liver, what happens? The body gets inflamed. It's hot. In fact, there's too much toxic debris that's floating around. Makes sense? Your cells are trying to produce all these toxins to try to get rid of them. You get toxins in your cells. Your body tries to move them through the lymph nodes to get excreted through your bowel movements. Then your lymph nodes get congested. They get puffy. You start swelling. Also, your body will create a lot of serous fluid to cool down the body. So you have all this fluid that's being pushed into the tissue that comes from where? Your kidneys pushing more fluid into your tissue to help cool it down. Your body's trying to keep homeostasis. Then your kidneys get worn out too. This is a lot to take in, but that's the importance. The two simple things is clean the kidneys, clean the liver. So your lymph nodes get congested. You have the overall swelling. Your body's trying to push all of this stuff out. You can't poop it out quick enough. So by and large, you have all of this stuff occurring in the body, a buildup. And that toxic buildup becomes so injurious to your body. And side note, we often forget that our cells are respiring. They're breathing, they're eating, they're resting, and they're creating waste. If we don't give the body a proper exit strategy for that waste, like the lymph, like sweating, like urination, like bowel movements, your body will place it into fat cells. It'll put it into extra cells around the body. It'll put the extra fluid in your body from the kidneys pushing into tissue into the cells. Your body is a mechanism that's trying to keep it from being overwhelmed. It's going to put toxins into your cells. It's going to put fluid into your cells to dilute the toxins. Do you imagine that? You imagine that your cell has so many toxins in them and it's almost concentrated, like just too much salt, like salt water. Like if you take salt water to help gargle or you drink salt water, too much salt is too pungent, so you put more water into it. The same thing with your body. So you're getting all this stuff stuffed in the cells, too much fluid, and then you start to have puffiness. That's the mechanism. I know it's a lot, but there's a lot more mechanisms. So you start to wonder, wow, I just gained so much weight that quickly. You got pushed over the edge. Your liver was toxified. Your kidneys got toxified. But what would put you over the edge? Now, this is another question. I want you to guys listen to this. Did you ever have an emotional event that you noticed that you gained weight right after you had the emotional event? And I can tell you that many of you out there are shaking your head saying, yes, I did. What does that mean, Doc? Your organs process emotions, certain types of emotions. Your liver in Chinese medicine helps you process anger and frustration and resentment. Your kidneys help you process fear, dread. I can't move forward in life. I'm stuck. The other organs process many things, but those two are processing. We're going to talk about right now. Have you had any of those two types of issues, anger or fear? And many of us are saying both. But if your organs help process those emotions and you have had a dirty, mucky liver or kidneys, and then you suffered from an event that raised all this fear or anger or resentment or frustration, it will overload the organ. There are so many mechanisms involved, but it overloads the organ or organs, and this whole cascade of weight gain can occur. I know there's the biochemistry, there's the parasites, there could be yeast and mold and fungus, etc. It could be the toxins of living in an area that had a factory. I've seen it. I've seen people that lived in near nuclear power plants, near car factories, and they were just filled with heavy metals and toxins and chemicals from a plant, and it was all in their body. Could it be those? Yes. It finally builds up. But the reason the body gets pushed over the edge many times is because there is an emotional program that's running in the body that's challenging the liver and the kidneys. And that could be from your genetics, from your upbringing, from being in a toxic environment all your life. So you have all these toxins in the body, but you really have to go back and look. Am I angry at something? Am I frustrated? Am I resentful? Did somebody or something in my life take away my property, made me move from my house when I was a kid and I was so angry, upset, or somebody tried to take my property or take something from me? Or did you feel left out? I'm a fish out of water. I feel abandoned. I feel like a refugee, even in my own house. I feel like I can't move forward because I just don't feel like I belong. Where am I going to go? The relationship of biochemistry and emotions is so profound in the organ-emotion relationship charts of Chinese medicine that I can go through all the details, literally tell you about Western physiology and how it works. But I just want you to know that when your organs are super tired from your emotions, they can't help you clean up the liver and the kidneys properly. In a nutshell, just simply, you can't clean them up. You can do your work, and I love it. You can clean up the plaquing, and the plaquing and the junk and the toxicities. You can clean them up with the proper nutrition, which we're going to talk about, and that's beautiful. I agree. But what you want to do is help your organs to breathe and to clean up, and hopefully it'll bring up to your nervous system, your brain, the emotions and the trauma that's trapped. This can all lead to a puffy face. This can all lead to water weight. This can lead to night sweats. Yes, it's stagnant toxins and chi, but this podcast has taken a different turn. Remember, it's about your anger or your fears. So what I recommend, we have to do some healthy lifestyle changes. It is hard for us in our culture today to literally change 180 and do something so profound and different that it's going to change my liver's metabolism, my kidneys' metabolism in a heartbeat. The liver and the kidneys are running along and they're literally like, oh, I'm living my life. Okay, I've been going through this sludge and toxicities. And all of a sudden you just do a 180 and you're like trying to tell the liver and kidney, like, do something different. And many times it can listen. It takes a little bit of influence, but your body will undergo a shock. My rule is not to make it go under shock. It's to have an understanding, a communication with your body in a gentle, loving manner. Even talking to your organs, it sounds so weird. But if you talk to your organs and your liver and you're saying, hey, I've got to make these changes. I have not communicated with you well. I've treated you poorly. And now I'm trying to make a shift. That means we want to do things to help benefit the kidneys and the liver, i.e., simple steps. Reduce or eliminate refined sugars. Start intaking more water. You want to help build the collagen content of the body, so I would recommend collagen as well. Antioxidants, which could be in the forms of purple, blue, leafy greens, berries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, any type of food that has heavy antioxidants, or taking a good antioxidant supplement. You're going to want to help your liver by methylating, so find a good B complex that helps feed the liver, and also a good omega 369, so B complex and omegas. And I always say, remember multi-minerals, whether it's a fulvic-based mineral like beam minerals, or if it's a mineral that you know works for your body. So we had the B complex, we had the multi-minerals, we had the antioxidants, we had the good fish oils or omegas of your choice, even a plant-based. You want to reduce all refined sugars and increase your water. One thing I cannot forget, and is nature's greatest healer, you have to remember to sleep. You won't sleep well in the midnight, 11, 12 a.m. up to 2 to 3 a.m. because that's the liver and gallbladder times to help heal and to cleanse and to do their function. But you have to sleep better. You have to knock these things out. Once you start eliminating those foods and really taking in like the good nutrients and loving on your body, you're going to start seeing a better change in your sleep. I actually would add in infrared, like full spectrum infrared, even red light therapy, even a sauna or maybe a panel to get good sweating going. I know you sweat at night, but this will help clean up the liver. Regular or maybe bi-monthly electric lymph therapy, ELTs. That's what I do. Get electric lymph therapy to help flush the body. Those, you can even do rebounding, jumping on a trampoline. That's beautiful. Do that. And you can actually do the sauna. And some people do benefit from cold therapy. Chinese medicine, they don't really favor cold therapy. They like the heat because that's more life-giving. But some people love cold therapy, like cold baths. When you start to take these into consideration, this will help your bowel movements and you'll start flushing your bowels. You also want it to help stimulate your urination in a healthy format. So these are some of the simple things you can change in your world right now that I just mentioned. To help the body stimulate even further, you know that I always want you guys to have these healthy lifestyle choices. So we can add all these things together, do some exercise like we talked about, rebounding, stretching, Stretching is vital for the liver. But to help the liver and the kidneys work out, you always see me use my Chinese medicine doll. There's a point between your big toe and your second toe. It's in the webbing called liver 3. If you have a stagnant liver, if you have a puffy face, a round face, or red face, you hit that point, the liver 3. Remember those words, liver 3, the space between your big toe and your second, and you rub that point out, it will be inflamed and so tender, and you're going to say, what is that? The next point is going to be kidney points. And the kidney points, the major ones, run up into the shin bone, right here on the inside of the leg. You can go into this area on the back side of your shin bone, right here. If you can look at all the little kidney points, kidney 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up the leg. If you just massage your calf muscle on the inside, just squeeze your calf muscle, and you put your thumbs right here all along that gastroc, the calf muscle, as it meets up to the bone, your shin bone, you're going to find some inflamed points. And you're going to say, that is so tender. What it is, or what is it? It's this little K1, kidney 1, going up the inside of the ankle, up into the inside of the leg, going up into the kidney. There is a blockage here in the calf, or the calf muscle. That's primarily where I see it the most. And that liver 3. You do once, twice a day of 30 to 40 seconds of massage in those areas, you'll start having better bowel movements, and you'll start having better urination. You'll start releasing more. Another one that I add in too, guys, with the liver 3 and the kidneys 6, 7, 8, 9, those areas in the calf muscle, is called large intestine 11. Studied on this map, large intestine 11 is right here at this little crease point on the outside of the forearm, up here at the elbow. Literally, guys, right here, you can't even see it on the camera. Well, I better do it here on the doll. But if you have your hands like palm facing out, and on the outside of your elbow, the elbow crease, palms facing out, you hit this little area right here, what they call your radial head, that little bone, the big bone up in the joint here, and you rub all around the head of the joint, you're going to find tenderness. That's large intestine. It will help you go to the restroom and have bowel movements amazingly, if I can put it that way. So you can do large intestine 11, liver 3, and kidney points all inside the shin bone on the calf muscle, and you'll start flushing. You don't want to do it too much to make you feel sick, but light massage, 30 to 40 seconds on each point on both sides, morning and night. You're going to change your lifestyle, but you're going to do it very, very gently and move forward. With all this, there's some herbs I really suggest you look into. Now, there's a few things I would like to say. Is you want to make sure you take Schisandra. Schisandra is Chinese medicine glutathione liver cleanser. Uva Ursi, UVAURSI, Uva Ursi by Supreme Nutrition Products. Look at their website. I love those guys, Supreme Nutrition Products. Uva Ursi or Schisandra, and or Bodyguard Supreme, which is called Chanca Piedra. It's called the Stonebreaker. So if you're listening to me, there's 3 of them that you need to look into. There's many more. There's many kidney formulas, I know, and many liver ones. But if you have puffy face, I want you to look at Schisandra, Uva Ursi, and Bodyguard by Supreme Nutrition Products. Read up on them. They'll clean out kidney stones. It'll help clean out liver stones and gallbladder stones gently. You don't want to hit it full force and take 3 or 4 or 5 of these supplements at one time. Just take 1 in the morning to start off. And then maybe after a week or 2, do 1 in the morning and 1 at night, and start noticing how it starts to help you with your water weight, with your bowel movements, with your urination. Take these points into consideration. These are very easy. Just rub those points out, guys. Just all I'm asking you to do. Rub the points out, cut out your refined sugars, possibly add those things in like fish oils, good antioxidants, some good multi-mineral, multi-B that works for you, can tell a difference. And these 3 herbs do that. Increase some exercise. Get out and walk more. You'll start noticing that you'll start dropping water weight. One of the things I see that helps the most when I talked about ELT, electric lymph therapy, is that our emotions get so caught up that I've had patients that have had to do the ELT. I have. And when they do the ELT and get the lymph to flow, because they've been so stuck, emotional resilience means I get packed in where I'm adding in more padding and fluid so I don't get hit with my emotions. Your body intentionally does that because you feel like you're getting hit. Use the ELT, electric lymph therapy. I am telling you, I've had patients where they just dropped water weight tremendously just by doing that. I've had some that have just knocked out their simple sugars and dairy, cornstarch, potato starch, the starches and the sugars that are out there. Cutting out sugar in your diet will help add in some extra help. But try the ELT. It's tremendous work. And last but not least, we talked about the emotions. I just want you guys to know, you have to allow this to bring up to your cognition, to your brain, the emotions that are hiding underneath the surface. We have to make sure that the emotions that are in the organs, the liver and kidneys, are probably there before the stagnation was, possibly. Usually the plaquing and the mucus and the junk builds up in those organs because they were weak or tired from processing emotions such as fear or anger. Pay attention to the anger or the emotional fears that are brought up when you start making these healthy lifestyle changes. Or you start recognizing now, even in the state, without even doing all the other thoughts and therapies and the exercise and supplements, look back in your past and find out what you're angry or fearful about. That's where it can begin. Puffy face, night sweats, water weight, hormones. Yes, it'll change. Yes, hormones. Change it. That's a big thing. But I want you to see that liver and kidney stagnation and sickness with their related emotions are some of the root causes of those things. Try these out. See if it works. You'll be surprised as it starts to reduce the face swelling down, starts to empty it out. You'll see a big benefit. Guys, if you love this information, you want some kind of information to help you with the weight or with metabolism, send us some comments, give us some ideas. We're glad we're able to talk about this. I hope this gives you some good tips. Like and subscribe if you like this. Send it to somebody who's had some puffiness, who's had some water weight, who can't drop weight. Remember, there's so much more we can talk about. Kidneys literally help you produce dopamine. The kidneys do. They help you with cortisol regulation. That's a whole nother discussion. But chronic kidney and adrenal issues can have high cortisol, can have adrenaline overload, which causes weight gain as well. But for this discussion, I want you to just look into cleansing the kidneys and the liver. That would be a good podcast. So maybe my producer, she can write that down and we can put that on the books. All right? Guys, I hope it goes well for you. Love having you guys here. Until the next time, have a blessed day. We appreciate you all. From all of us here at the Ancient Health Podcast, I'm Dr. Chris Motley. Have a good one.